Hi, I'm Patrick DeMarco. You might remember me from such popular PSAs as Podcast Abuse, The Wrong Side Network, and the award-winning Mean Girls. It's come to my attention that some of you are the victims of another kind of abuse. If you claim that someone releases content before you but you've never released anything, or you claim that someone's stealing your product yet it comes like that in the mail, then you might be a big fat buster. You're a pretender. You're a wannabe. You want to fit in. But the truth is that you have nothing to offer. So together, we can stop people being busters. Just simply tell them, shut the fuck up. This has been brought to you by Speak of the Devil, now toasted for your pleasure. By the way, I fucking love this intro. I fucking dig this shit, dude.
You're supposed to be quiet during the intro so that people can hear it. Rhubarb, 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 rhubarb. Satan! Welcome to another episode. Speak of the Devil presents An Enlightened Perspectives. Plural, because there's two of us, right? How you doing, man?
Good, how are you doing? I see that you haven't changed your white fucking shirt again.
I've had it for so long, it like grew stripes. It's like a virus or something. Thank you so much for joining us live chat room individuals. I don't know what's happening today. It's been a really, really busy day. So Chaotic Scott, good to see you, man. Mario, Elijah, my man, how you doing? Luis, rock on, brother. Jeff, how's it going? Good to see you, man. Mr. Victor, always great to see you. Evan, I am a Satanist. I am Adam, I am a Satanist, and that is Patrick, he is a Satanist. Thank you guys so much for joining us live. If you have any questions during the course of the show, we've got a bunch of different topics to cover, and we're going to be covering them right at you, real InfoWars style, with the gay frogs turning the world with the Jewish Muslims and communists. It's going to be good because of Demons in you. All right, that was
a little too WWF for my style, but that's
right, well.
I feel like Macho Man and Randy Savage are always my favorites.
Slap it to a Slim Jim.
You don't know if I can touch your hand there, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get down from there.
That's how he's just like pooping on a regular basis. Ooh yeah. And he's just like,
I bet it's the opposite. I bet that's where he reads. I'm gonna go on a limb that that's like his only moment to not be the extreme douchebag that he was. I'm sure he was like, oh, finally in my safe zone. I'm gonna read some books here. I'm gonna get some knowledge, and then I have to go out and be this fuckface. So I need to prepare myself.
He's in the fucking green room watching Pollyanna, and he comes back out and he's just like, ooh yeah.
That's like the days of Ric Flair, man. I miss that motherfucker, dude. That's when talking shit was like an art form. Now it's just, ugh.
See, and I was always into like the Ultimate Warrior who didn't make any sense at all. He just like spouted off random, like dimensional rants, which I always kind of dug as a kid. Like no matter how bad he was hurt, he would just grab, oh shit, my mic. He would just grab the rope and just shake it, and he would be like back to full power or something. And kick people's ass. It was awesome.
Cocaine and steroids are an amazing combination, bro. Amazing combination. I've not tried it, but I've seen the footage, and it's a sight to behold.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, we're not here to talk about fucking wrestling. We're here to talk about the news, the popular cultural topics of the day, the news du jour for my cultural friends. I don't know what's going on. It's going to be an interesting show, as you can tell. So, Patrick, thank you so much for concepting this show and joining me live on it, as always.
You know what? It's. I tell you what, though, it's the longest evening I've ever spent. So we'll just go with that. No, it's awesome. I like
Buckle yourself
This is
in, buddy,
fun.
because it is going to be a long one. We've got a lot of shit to cover. And we're going to
That's good.
start. You know what? Should we just dive into the news?
Just go right in.
Let's dive into the news. We got some stuff happening here, people. We are
Oh, this is the great chili cook-off where the pranksters put laxatives into the chili. Adam Campbell is on the scene live with this.
That's actually me back in the corner. I don't know if you can tell with the hat. That's me.
I put laxatives in my chili. Look at this fucking guy's face.
I like chili. Why do you read news? All right, so this is actually I thought I hit pause, but I clearly did not hit pause. That's our next story. Hold on. Fuck.
Oh.
There we go.
There we go. The great chili cook-off.
Professional. Really professional.
Look at what is this guy? 5 years old. He hates the news. Is that because cartoons are not on anymore?
Where's G.I. Joe?
Dude, that's just so sad, man.
So-
look at this cocksucker. I mean, it's
You're killing me.
see, it's all the news channels suck except for Fox News, which
CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS.
yeah.
All that's left is Fox. All right, 48% of Republicans say the news media is the enemy. They have bought in to the mantra that our president, Donald Trump, has been repeating since he started running for the presidency. The news is the enemy of the state. The news is they are trying to trick you. They are lying to you. They are fake. They are not real. Don't believe your eyes. It's all fake. And it's working because, as this is stating, of polled Republicans, 43%. I'm actually showing 48 and 43, so I don't know which to believe. It is fake news! 43%, I'll go on the conservative side, of Republicans want Trump to actually have the ability to cancel news outlets that are critical of him. This blows my mind.
So you can't pick on the president?
Apparently not.
Can't have a this is such. What are we creating here? You're creating the process of which information is divulged to the people. Yeah. Talk about a more way to confuse the public and cause doubt. Look at this. Look at how much doubt is on this with this fake news horse shit. It's amazing to me that people have this on there, and it's just a ridiculous thing that it's. I don't know.
Well, there's another poll that was after that. It says 79% of Republicans believe that the mainstream media treats President Trump unfairly. And it's interesting because he showed up to a rally for some of the special elections that were running this past week. And he was saying, don't believe any of the polls. All the polls are lies. There's no truth in news media. But there was a poll that came out just recently saying I was the most favored Republican president in all of history. So which is it? Are they all fake? Or is just that one poll accurate?
Dude, he is a fucking rich kid, man. You can't talk bad about me. You can't make fun of me. I'm telling my daddy I'm the president. You can't do that.
I'm the president.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is, man. It's like, it's just like, you're not gonna talk bad about me. I'm the fucking president. Fuck you. And it's just kind of like, well, what are you doing that I don't know. It's so insanity to cancel news programs that have conspiracy or want to talk, what you're doing wrong or educating the public. Yes, I know that the news is sensationalized. I know that some of that is not what it used to be, where the news was just more informative. Now they have to run with a great story. So I see where that would cause doubt with people, but at the same time, it's like, it's news, and if you don't, they have to check their facts. They have to do all this stuff still. Yeah. If it's a fake news story, then sue them, sue the shit out of them, because that's the legal way to do it, and that's what you do. You sue them for libel because it's spoken or slander.
When you're in a public office, the role of the press is to be honestly and fairly reporting on your behaviors, on what you say, and what you do. And what we find increasingly in this particular administration is that they say and do things that are contrary to things that they said and did moments before. And so it's a never-ending cycle of contradiction in not only reporting, but also being critical or friendly to the individual in the office. And when you never know what their actual position on a subject is, because it changes so frequently, it can be challenging to discern any semblance of truth, especially from this administration. And so they're playing the game of flooding the airways with so much noise, just white noise, that you can't think straight. You can't articulate a real argument to their position because their position is continually changing.
Well, that's where they're really doing something bad behind the scenes, because they're using all this subterfuge. They're using all this wag the dog to derail the intellect of people to a position that they wanted to be in. I mean, it's complete distraction. Yeah. So whatever they're planning, whatever they're doing is going to be really, really bad, because now they can't even accurately report it. People will put down on what's really going on. How bad is this going to be? This is just the start of this. I mean, I don't know if he's going to even last as president. I mean, it's interesting to me.
He really could.
Well, here's the thing, though, too, and this is what scares me, is that Putin wants a Western bloc and an Eastern bloc. That's it. America and Russia. That's it. Annex all of it, continue it as one big giant nation, East and West. That's all he wants, and that's what he's planning on doing.
Like a champagne room and like a private room.
No, he just wants. East and West. He just wants to. He just wants to. And that's the thing where, like, this is just the start. Like, you're trying to. I mean, people think I'm nuts, but it's like, this is what he's doing. They disband NATO. They're pulling their troops out, ending treaties, not protecting other countries from whatever. It's all like us versus them. I mean, what's to say? What is Canada going to stop us from running over there and taking all their resources? No,
neither will Mexico. Build a fucking wall, dude. They're the next.
We should have one between us and Canada, because that's where the cold air comes from. See, that's where that shit is.
There is far too much molasses coming from fucking Canada.
There is far much too molasses. That is correct, sir. That is correct. So there is far much too molasses with that, and that's just interesting to say the least.
Maple syrup is running far too freely. We need to tax the maple syrup, which is the threat to the sovereignty of the United States. Didn't maple syrup burn down the White House back in the 1700s? That was a deep pull of news for those of you who
maple syrup, the maple syrup incident
of 1712. Ah, yes, back when maple syrup was made with gasoline.
Hey man, the maple syrup,
you'd make maple syrup cocktails out of it,
bro. I just think it's so interesting how,
Well, I want to frame an idea, because the first half of this show is going to be all about the First Amendment. And I think it's important to understand exactly what the First Amendment is for those who may be a little hazy, maybe aren't American, or maybe just don't recall what it is. So here we go. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, of abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. From the very beginning of this presidency, even when he was running, President Trump has often said that there should be limits on free speech, because he doesn't like people coming out and saying that they grabbed him by the pussy, for example, and then proving it in a court of law, and then him quietly silencing it later so that no one actually understands or remembers, because he has such a long train of other mishaps that seem to magically occur in his Twitter feed every time there's something that would point the finger at him being in a wrong position or doing something wrong. If anybody needs
silencing, it's him to take away his fucking Twitter. Jesus.
And this is an important idea, because do you think that it would be fair to, and I'm not going to give my opinion, I just want yours straight out before I give you mine. Do you think that it's fair? Well, just tell me, give it to me straight. Give it to me straight, DeMarco.
Okay. All right.
Do you think it's fair to silence people's opinions, even if they are off the deep end, even if they are violent or extremist in some cases, even if they fly in the face of the Constitution of the United States or the operations thereof as a democracy, do you think that that is something that we should allow as a society, as a corporation?
Absolutely not.
Really? See, this is interesting to me.
I don't think we should silence any of it.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it should all be the flow of information.
misunderstood
I
you.
think it should all be out there. Whatever it is, whatever theory, whatever, let people make their own educated decision. I don't believe in the obstruction of information, and I don't believe the obstruction of thought. I mean, that's where you're controlling thought, basically, by releasing what you think is the... Look at the panic that they've ensued by telling us we can't trust our news stations anymore. Like, that's, and these people are upset because the people that I see this, I don't really think that they're like, fuck the news, god damn it. I think that they like really believe Donald Trump. I agree. That is the irresponsibility that he's doing, because he's being very irresponsible, because now people are like, Donald Trump is right. The president would never lie to us. He can't lie to us. That's some kind of rule or some shit. That's what they really believe. I'm not joking, because this is what it is. And they think that, oh, okay, well, the news, fuck these news. They're trying to ruin our president. He's a great man. And they believe that shit. So that's where there's a problem. He's being irresponsible, and he's creating panic and chaos and division. When there's division, there's control. If we all get together and unite against one cause, then he's fucked. That's the problem. Division. That's the key to it. King Louis, when people got pissed off at King Louis, they went and got his ass. They all were in agreement that he sucked.
Do you mean the Jungle Book King Louis? Or
yes, Adam, the Jungle Book King Louis.
I want to be a man-child. Jungle VIP.
Such an asshole. No, of course, no. Not that one with Baloo, your favorite. We will go over the notes for Jungle Book later.
Okay.
So yeah, no. King Louis was, in the God, I don't even know the fucking name, but I know the story. So
I know what you're talking about, though.
Okay, good. Don't do that.
I don't need a history lesson. I understand. But I do think it's interesting. It's certainly, the conversation is interesting, because you have people that are claiming on one hand to be patriots and to love the Constitution, especially if it comes to the Second Amendment, and then willing to give up the First Amendment because their leader, their championed president, says that they are the enemy. All the while completely, seemingly ignorant to the reality that these are the first steps to a dictatorship, to not trust reality, not trust anyone, but coming from the top. This is why the Republican National Convention, when President Trump was nominated to be the candidate for the Republican Party, I was so stunned when they were in such agreement in that audience chamber when he said, I am the only one that can solve the problems ahead for America. I am the only one that can deal with the issues that we have to deal with nowadays. He immediately set himself up as the hero, as the champion, as the god for the Republican Party, and they all fucking swallowed his bullshit cum that spewed out of his mouth.
They didn't swallow it. They needed the Republican president. What was their choices? He was the one that was going to win. They would have done anything to win. That's what it was about. They didn't get. They didn't want to lose another time.
Yeah.
Just here, it wasn't about. Well, we can. I'm sure they thought, oh, we can control him. We can. He'll play ball. He'll play ball. And I'm sure he told them he would play ball. In the back of his mind, he's like, fuck you, dickheads. Once they get in here, you guys are all fucked. So he kind of conned them too. He showbiz them. He gave them a little flash, a little smile and shit. And he fucking got it all done. And that's what happened. So
that's an interesting idea that I hadn't really considered deeply before.
They wanted to win so fucking bad. Yeah. If it was anybody, if it was SpongeBob SquarePants, they would have fucking done it. Not too far off from our President Orangutan there, but it's that's what it is. They didn't want more Democratic. If they knew what they knew now, they probably would have said, "Fuck it, let's put up Jeb Bush up there." We would have put, Marco Rubio or fucking even ferret-faced Ted Cruz. Any one of them. Any one of those guys would have been so much better. I think Marco Rubio would have been way better than Donald Trump. And those guys can sit there and go, "See, I told you, folks. He's a jerk off. I would have been so much better. I'm even saying Emperor Palpatine would be better than Trump. Like, seriously, dude. I mean,
He did bring peace to the galaxy. I mean,
and he's a jobs creator. Don't forget that.
It's true.
He mentors young boys.
Jeez. Just like the Catholic Church. All right. First, let me just say, Wes, thank you so much for joining us, man. Good to see you. Matt, always great to see you. Jeff Bowling says, oh, wait, hold on. To be fair, we really shouldn't trust the media or the president. I think there's a significant difference between those two, because one has no position and continuously changes his mind within minutes. Within the same press conference, will change position multiple times. The other is just trying to discern whether or not this person is trying to lead us down an A or a B path or a C, whatever it is. They're trying to understand what he's trying to say and then trying to report it to the rest of us. And I'm not so foolish to think that corporate media does not have an agenda. But I will definitely say that you can distill truth from multiple media outlets reporting on a similar incident and finding that vein, the gigantic cock vein of your own personal truth distilled throughout those different sources, not just relying on one, going to many different ones. And you cannot find Donald Trump's vein because he's constantly bouncing around. There is no consistency. He's just a wild chimp in a fucking office. He doesn't know what to do or how to act or how to behave. The last person that's in his presence, he seems to believe the most and want to follow their directive up until the point that he feels he's being marginalized in some way. And then he comes out just in defiance, like a little spoiled child saying, well, I don't want to do it even if it's not in my best interest because you said I should.
Oh, okay. No, I know what you're saying. But Jeff is right. We shouldn't trust him. But like you said, we need to find out that vein of discover our own truth. We need to find that calculated of truth. And we don't need to have. Thank you. We don't. You're not supposed to trust him. That's right. But we do have to have at least some kind of that they are going to at least try to report the news value. Of course, they have an agenda, but it's our job as educated people to sift through the bullshit and find out what's really going on. Right. So that's where and you're absolutely right. But it's just interesting how we shouldn't trust him and shouldn't do these things. Yeah, but what he's doing is completely irresponsible and completely off the rails. I mean, agendas are always going to be pushed by who's ever paying for the bill of the news. I mean, if you go back to ancient Rome, it's the same way. They had newsreaders. There wasn't a newspaper. Guy would come out and he would read the fucking news to people, and the government told him what to fucking say.
Bring out your dead.
The same shit. Yeah, no, that's not Rome, dude.
That's not Rome?
No, that's Monty Python.
Pretty sure that's Rome. No, I'm not a scientist or a learned professional.
More Life of
historian,
Brian. Life of Brian, not Holy Grail.
Worship the gourd. It is the gourd.
I think my favorite part of that movie was who will we release today? And they're giving him all these fucked up names to say. Rupert, we will release Rupert. I always find that hysterical. Or when he's like, execution, and he's like, I'll take freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, right this way. I'm so sorry. Oh, I got you. Oh, you're such a good person. Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts. I don't know.
Okay, so
that's what this show is, people. That's what the show is.
Let's go back. We're following tangents. But again, so I don't want to get on like a President Trump fucking harshing train or anything, but I did want to bring up that idea that Republicans are seemingly willing to sell out the Constitution that they love in order to swallow the load that he is delivering to them. But that idea is not mutually exclusive to Republicans. Oh no, my friends. This is shocking to me. I cannot believe that this actually happened, but... Oh, damn it. Hold on. That was going to be dramatic. Damn it. It's still not dramatic. It'll be dramatic. Motherfucker. There.
Ta-da!
It only took 7 tries. InfoWars has been removed from Google, Facebook, and Apple. They purged videos and podcasts from the right-wing conspiracy site. Yesterday, because of this, he was #1 overall trending app on Google Play Store, a metric that reflects the sudden momentum among news apps. InfoWars was number 3 on Apple, number 5 on Google, and all mainstream news above all other mainstream news organizations. So this time it was the left screaming to the corporate world, look, this guy's inciting violence. This guy is a maniac. He's insane. We can't topple the Don, but we can topple the smaller Dons. And this individual was just caught in the crossfire. And they did, in fact, silence him on a corporate level. So does your statement stand in InfoWars' case that no, we should not silence anyone's free speech?
Shouldn't silence anyone's free speech. Do you understand a concept called the Peterson scale? Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Okay. Peterson scale is you promote to the level of incompetence. So what is Donald Trump, a big fat CEO guy? So if you look at this, that's how it is in corporations, is they come out of the gate, they excel, they do well, and they get promoted to a job that they can't do. So now they're promoted to the level of competence called the Peterson scale. And Donald Trump is a prime example of the Peterson scale. He's been promoted to a job that he can't do. And this is what the ramifications are of this. You read about CEOs, bankrupting companies, taking huge bonuses and fucking all the employees and making off. This is the prime example, except Donald Trump Corporation is America, and we're the ones that are getting fucked while he gets bonuses and gets to run the country into the ground. This is what we're seeing, people. Some people, when Ross Perot was running, people were like, well, we should have a businessman run the country. Absolutely fucking not. This is the actual repercussions of that wish. This is what a businessman does, a corrupt businessman like he is. Correct. So, and as a business owner myself, not on the level that Donald Trump is, I probably do more than Donald Trump does if you think about it. So you're looking at it like, dude, this is bad business, but they're not in it to make. We wonder what the profit is. What's the payoff? See, that's what we don't know. So this guy he's going to be sworn into a lifetime of presidency. Watch. He's going to be dictator Trump.
Okay, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole.
Sorry.
I want to talk about this because there's people in the chat room like Elijah saying no one silenced Alex Jones, though. That doesn't have anything to do with free speech. And I would make the argument that the reason that Google, Apple, and Facebook said that they removed his videos and podcasts was because his speech was violent and hateful. So that was their outward reasoning. Whatever was behind the scenes, if it was different, I'm not privy to that. But I do know that they publicly stated it was his version of speech, which was the cause for them removing him. And that is the tale that he is telling in his own Periscope feeds, in his own news feeds on his own website. So again, he has not been silenced. He is still out there, but he was removed by these large corporations' outlets simply because of public outcry against him as an individual and what he was saying. Victor Wicked is saying it was an employee issue, not a constitutional issue. And anytime free speech is in the mix, anytime it is this person is inciting violence or this person is shouting hate speech, that is, in my opinion, straight up a constitutional First Amendment issue. And that is why I pulled this in to this frame of discussion. Because I wanted to have this conversation. Is it okay for hate speech to exist? Is it okay for inciting violence to exist? It was Alex Jones and InfoWars that fronted the whole Pizzagate bullshit that caused people to be shot and killed by a maniac who listened to this conspiracy theorist bullshit and took action. It is this same type of violent behavior and rhetoric that has created the QAnon cult of personality that has sprung up in the wake of the Trump presidency. That is pure insanity, bullshit, conspiracy, mindless drone lemming behavior that's just like, yeah, that totally doesn't make any sense, which is why it makes perfect sense. Hence, it is true. There are pedophile rings running throughout Hollywood and the Democratic Party. No, there's not. It's all a straight up fucking lie. And it drives me nuts when liberals complain about Republicans wanting to shut down dissenting press, but then they're okay with their own views shutting down extreme right-wing press.
So what you're wanting is more responsibility in what they put out. You want them to be more responsible in the type
Not
of
even
content
that
they
at all.
produce.
I just want a little consistency. If you're for free speech, then be fucking for free speech. Let the
It's gotta be
crazies stay in their corner.
It's got to be all of free speech. Then, if you
Yeah,
believe in free speech,
it's all or nothing.
all of it is on the table. You can't have, if it's free speech, you can't have rules, and you're going to have crazies. Now, when people hear this shit and act on it, that is part of them. That is their deal. They're not responsible. Anybody, you could read, whatever you read and you absorb doesn't mean that you have to listen to it or take it or believe in it. It's your choice. Right. And if someone says some hate speech, you go, that guy's fucking right. I'm going to go kill these motherfuckers. That's on you. That's not the person that told you that. If you're a lemming and you're going to fucking do whatever, what's your mommies tell you? You're going to do what everybody tells you to do?
Yeah.
That's the same thing. And it's just like people need to, I think it's not really a news war or info war. I think it's an education war. Mm-hmm. I don't even think that. I mean, I see this sentiment in what you're talking about. If it's free speech, it all has to be allowed, whether it's hate or not, or this or that. It creates thought. It creates a dialogue. It creates a conversation. Yeah. So no, I agree. It has to be all free. At the same time, it's you can't have your cake and eat it too on this one. This is all or nothing, and that's trying to limit what we say. Like I said, controls thought, and I'm not a big fan of that. I like I'd be on the phone with somebody and they're fucking around with me, and it's like a telemarketer or some shit or whatever I'm doing, and I start swearing. They go, "Sir, if you swear at me, I'm gonna hang up the phone." I'm like, "Well, then you need to find somebody who tolerates swearing because I'm going to adhere to free speech. I'm allowed to express myself any way that I want. Yes, you don't have to listen to it. That's fine, but don't tell me what to do because I'll say anything I want to say. If I want to, you're not going to silence me. If I want to swear, I'm going to swear. This is America. Grow the fuck up. Put on your big girl panties. It's time to, if somebody's swearing, then maybe that's how they express themselves. Mm. I agree wholeheartedly that it should be free speech all the way. Even if there's the crazies, it's the person's choice whether they listen to it or not. Right. Like Jeff Bowling said, I think it was Jeff Bowling, right? That we shouldn't trust the news or trust the president either. Right. Yeah. So he's absolutely correct. We shouldn't trust them. That's why we can put out whatever you want. It's up to the listener to make that decision on their own. Hmm.
I want to dive into something here that Mario said in the chat room. He said, ideally, the most sound ideas would naturally rise to the top. That's meritocracy. And this is an idea that I've heard spewed certainly from Satanists who champion the idea in concept. But the realities of this idea are as flawed as democracy or having a healthy republic or publicly funded elections or any other fantasy idea that we as human beings, our conscious minds think makes perfect sense. And in practice, well, we're human and so it doesn't quite make perfect sense. So I'm going to shit on meritocracy for just a second and preface it by saying, I love the idea and concept. Love it. But again, we're humans. The execution is flawed. So the concept of meritocracy is the best product or the best idea or the best practice will rise to the top. And if that were truly the case, we would not be in many of the positions we find ourselves nowadays because what you have is special interest, outside interest. You have money and advertising. You have powerful and popular and politically motivated individuals versus individuals that don't give a fuck and would rather sit on their couch and watching fucking Roseanne reruns while they shove pigskins in their fucking face, drinking soda, getting diabetes, sucking off the tea to the rest of the fucking community because they can't afford their own fucking health care. Meanwhile, voting in people, if they can actually get off the fucking couch into fucking office that strip away their fucking health care, losing their fucking jobs because their jobs are being shipped overseas, whether it's tariffs or whether it's a lack of interest in that particular industry anymore, blaming other people instead of taking ownership of their own fucking lives. This is the reality of meritocracy. It's not fucking real. It's a manufactured ideology. We want it to work so badly, but it takes practice. It's like fucking freedom. You have to work at it. You have to sacrifice for it, and the public is not willing to do that. So in a microcosm, you can in fact have a meritocracy. In a
what I'm going to say is going to really piss you off. What I'm going to say is going to really make you mad. It is happening. It's just not what you think it should be. Their
Explain.
meritocracy is, okay, so I'm CEO company, and we are hemorrhaging money, but we don't want to give our bonuses. The great idea is that we lay off people. That's their meritocracy. They believe that that is a good idea, that that's the best course of action. The good ideas do rise to the top. It depends on whose opinion it is.
That's interesting.
It is meritocracy, but it's just not the way that you see it.
Right.
You don't think that's a good idea, but they do, and they think that's a great one. And they rose to that level to make that decision. It is happening around you. It's just a matter of opinion. If you don't like how something's done, okay, prime example. John got the promotion at work. I've been working double shifts and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, you know what? We don't know what John does. John may have the idea to cut your job so that they could pay him to do your job a little less. It all depends on what it is. You believe that you did it and you should have rose to the top. Well, you didn't, because you weren't where the company is headed. That's not their philosophy. Just because you believe that you're doing the best and that you should go to the top doesn't mean that everybody else does. And I know that's going to piss you off, Adam, and it should.
No, I
because it's
understand
true.
what you're saying. I definitely do. But I think there's a difference between
That's another opinion.
a corporate... Well, right. But hear me out, because there is definitely a difference between the idea of meritocracy as seen by the general public, in that the best individual ideas will rise to the top, versus the confines of a corporation or a boardroom that say only our, and we are going to leverage it, so only our best ideas rise to the top. We're going to leverage our authority in order to ensure that only our. So it is very much an idea. And this is an interesting conversation because I've never taken it down this path before. Is meritocracy a socialist awareness agenda as Satanists see it? Or is it very much an exclusive, personalized idea? Because the concept of meritocracy seems to fly in the face of the personal agenda. If truly the best ideas rise to the top, well, that's a socialist idea of agreeing that, yes, that is in fact, just by nature of it existing, the best version. But if it's an exclusivity...
But that's not your best version.
Well, that's not the exclusive version, yeah.
That's their best version, and that's what they think.
And
so
that's why it's so
happen.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it does happen, just not the way that we. That's not fair. Exactly. You're 100% right, and so are they. That's not the best idea for them.
Mm-hmm.
And a prime example of that, a lot of people don't like what I do in a mall.
Yeah.
It works. It's a good idea, and I do very well, but. It's
not many people
idea.
are very friendly to masturbation public. Public expressions of
Adam,
masturbation.
there is a market for it, and the data research shows that that's what people want. So don't. It's just because it's not your great idea.
I'm not shouting it down.
It's not a good idea. You must experience it firsthand before you make your decision. Keep an open mind.
All right.
So, that's the thing. It's like we are experiencing it, but it's their opinion. It's their meritocracy. People feel. Somebody was telling me how they felt slighted when other members got promoted, and I said, you can't do that to yourself. Like, well, I believe I should have got it. I did this and I did that. I was like, you know what? You're not the one that makes those decisions. And if you were the one that made that decisions, yes, you could see the merit in what you do. If they don't see the merit in what you do, or they don't think you're killing it, or you're being a member, or you're having bad behavior in their eyes, in their opinion, then you won't get your promotion. But if your only deal is to get promoted, then you're missing the whole point anyways. I mean, just because, whether you're an average, whether you're just a Satanist, or you're a Magister, or you're a priest, or a witch, or a high priestess, it doesn't matter. We're all the same. It's just that they recognize something that they did. If you're looking to be recognized, then you're missing the whole point of Satanism.
Yeah.
You're missing it, because we sometimes pull from behind the scenes. So you're not even they may not even know what you're doing, because you're so behind the scenes pulling the strings. You don't need an attaboy. And that's all. And I may come under some fire for this. I'm sure I'll get a text. It's one of those where it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There are people that don't even tell you what their level is, because it's a personal thing, and that's
Exactly.
where if you want to be famous in the COS and you want to be Reverend so and so or Magister blah 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 or whatever, that's a wonderful endeavor. That's fine. That's a wonderful endeavor to have. And I hope that you contribute enough that that's where you get promoted. But at the same time, it's not a difference between people. It doesn't get you anything. It doesn't get you a new $5 Hot Topic gift card. You
didn't get that? I got that.
No. I had to wait for mine to come in the mail for 4 to 8 months, and it was broken, so I had to send it back.
I paid $20 for my $5 gift card.
So it's one of those where just do you. I mean, if you need a pat on the back, like I understand. Hey, you're doing a great job. Here's your pat on the back.
I mean, I don't want to get mired in the intricacies of the individual.
Right, but the meritocracy thing, like that's the same type of thinking. I'm bringing it as an example where it's their opinion. It's who's ever making those decisions. So yes, the great ideas do rise to the top. It's just an opinion of what is a great idea and what isn't a great idea. Mm-hmm. So that's just where the good ideas do go to the top. It just depends on what your level of ethics and morality is for a good idea. Well, yes, we shouldn't fuck over our employees. That's not a good idea. To them it is. It's a good idea.
I want to play this idea that Elijah is stating in the chat room, because this is a really great bridge to what we're talking about here.
Well, thank you, Eliza.
And he says, meritocracy is a very tough topic and flows into might is right. Kind of tough to navigate. In a corporation, you can be the person that takes everyone drinking as completely inept, but supplants aptitude and arguably lesser magic, and that's easier than being adept. So might, in this particular case, is your ability to manipulate those through lesser magic in order to rise to the top. It is not this idea that, yes, meritocracy being your individual ability supersedes the idea itself being the best version of it. So let's say we both put out a book, similar content, similar aesthetics. One rises over the other. Maybe it's because one of us used lesser magic over the other. Maybe it's because we reached out to certain individuals over others. And that is why, rather than this overarching idea, which is why I love this conversation so much about meritocracy.
My book would probably be superior to your book. But since you used lesser magic and did all that stuff, that's why your book is more popular.
Yeah. I mean, so that and I show my penis on the cover. But
I think that would keep people from buying it.
You haven't seen my penis.
Yes, I have. And I would strongly suggest that you don't ever, ever, ever put that on the cover of anything.
Yeah.
Remember,
I mean,
remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to.
We've been hammering on this a little bit, and I would like to just give a happy hello to Adolf Hitler, who joined us in the chat room. It's always nice to see you, although I'm pretty sure you killed yourself.
That means "oh shit, dog" in German.
Jeff is saying that stratification happens when within every group of people on a global scale. Those groups with the most resources will control other groups. That's just nature. And I would agree with that. But I would make the argument that that is not meritocracy. I think gaming the system is not the right idea coming to the top. It is the most prudent way of being in control, which is the way the Satanist enacts life. But I don't like this idea that Satanists collectively champion this idea of meritocracy and on the same breath speak out about using lesser magic to manipulate the same game that they're talking about would naturally rise to the top. If it's naturally rising to the top, you don't need fucking lesser magic to have it rise to the top. That's my point. Is it meritocracy, or is it you gaming the system? You can't have both.
But maybe that's your meritocracy.
Right, for you, as an individual.
No. Right. But like playing the game and using lesser magic and getting ahead, you are rising to the best. You are showing them that you're the best at blending in. I mean,
at lesser magic.
I can take this argument all day long with you. Like, it's interesting concept, because I used to feel the same way, and I used to get mad, and I felt like I got slided somewhere, and then I go, wait a minute. It's not about me. I'm fighting an uphill battle with people whose opinions aren't my opinions. They're not my things. Right. What I think the right thing to do and the best idea is, it's not their right thing to do and not their best idea.
Yeah. Well, we could do a whole show on meritocracy, as we've proven out now. But we have other news articles to get to, people. So let's see if this works this time.
And thanks
It
people for the
worked!
live chat. Oh, it's the
So
Hit
this
Ladies
happened a
rally.
little while ago, but this falls in line again with that idea of free speech. This time again, alt-right websites were shut down. GoDaddy said it generally doesn't take action that could be viewed as censorship, and that it upholds the exercise of freedom of speech as expression. However, it also said that it made an exception in the case of altright.com, founded by Richard Spencer of the National Policy Institute. The organization describes itself as dedicated to the heritage, identity, and future of people of European descent in the United States and around the world. GoDaddy took down altright.com on May the 2nd. And this, I think, is a wonderful bridge to the idea that I truly believe that free speech should be open and uninhibited in any possible way. With the caveat, if you are leveraging a personal corporation's platform, it is up to their discretion. I do not think their discretion should be marred by public opinion, but I do believe that a corporation has the right to shut down the communication, the expressions of those that use their platform. So what do you think about that? Should corporations have the right to shut down their users' ideas if they don't see them as favorable?
No. I think they should have the right
So
to
here's
shut
an
that down.
interesting
It looks
idea.
like people are ordering sandwiches over here.
You have
Anybody had the turkey on rye?
Yeah.
Anybody get the turkey on
You
rye?
have a tattoo parlor. I
Yes.
walk into your tattoo parlor and I start speaking about Jesus and God and the watchtower and how angels must come down and we should all meet here in this tattoo parlor because this is the place. And we will all meet here every day at noon for 3 hours and chant and sing Kumbaya together. And you're okay with that?
As long as they're getting tattoos, I don't care what they do.
Good answer.
If there's a steady paycheck in it, I believe anything you're saying. So yeah. If you want to,
That was a Ghostbusters
Would that
reference,
be cash or card for your renting my shop for those couple of hours?
Yeah.
That's great. Notice I bill out at 120 an hour, so let's do the math.
I respect your idea. I mean, I think in practice, I don't believe that you would be okay with it, but I like the concept of it. I am very much for free speech until it is infringed upon me.
But I don't have to listen to it. I could say, well, thanks very much.
But it's your office.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, see,
And
but that's
end
the
of
thing.
it.
You kicking them out is the same as Google kicking them off their platform or Facebook kicking them off their platform.
That's a little different because I'm not kicking them off my platform.
That's your
saying,
office
hey,
in this particular scenario. See,
well,
and here's
I
the
don't have to
difference.
listen to it. I can put in headphones. As long as they pay me, I don't give a shit. That's a public establishment.
But no one's paying
Are these people
Facebook
paying
to
money
use
to
it.
be on these sites?
No. Are you paying to be on Facebook? No, not at all. Are you paying to be on Google?
No.
Yes.
Then
If you're going to be
if
on
they decide
GoDaddy,
they don't
yes.
want their content, they have the choice to not put them on there. I mean, they're not.
So as long as there's not a
they choose not to
monetary
produce it.
exchange, that's the difference?
I'm sorry. Say that again. You broke up a little bit.
Is it the monetary exchange that makes the difference for you? Like if you're paying me to have a website on my server and I don't agree with you, I'm going to have to put up with that because you're paying me. But
That's
if
right.
I let you have server space and I disagree, then I can kick you off at a whim.
I think that's a good thing. Like if I don't want to watch your channel, I could just change the channel.
Right.
I'm not obligated to watch your channel.
Yeah.
And I pay for that channel, so I can choose which channel I choose to watch. So that's the same thing. They're just choosing not to do business with them. Yes, it is fucked up, and yes, it is that, but it's their choice to not do business with these people, and these guys that ordered the tuna are pretty upset over here. But no, I mean, that's what it is. But they have the right to say, we don't want to listen to this content. Like I have the right to change the channel.
Yeah.
Like you have the right to change that shirt.
No.
Never.
I was born in it. Still has afterbirth on it. That's why I never see the back of it.
That is so wrong. There is something so wrong with you. Oh my God. There's something so wrong with you. But that's why we love you, Adam.
But I think it's an interesting conversation to be had because this idea of meritocracy can be seen in so many different ways. Same with the idea of the right to have free speech. It can be seen in so many different ways depending on where you're exercising that speech and who's paying the bills for that right to exercise.
They're exercising their right to not listen to their rhetoric.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, that's interesting.
It's interesting.
This is such and I really appreciate you guys in the live chat, like putting your opinions in. It really stirs the conversation, and I want you to know that I appreciate it. Keep those checks coming. But that's, I mean, it's absolutely, it's just like, they have the right to not have it on there. They have the right to not listen to it. There are bands that I don't like. I change the channel. It's the same thing. They're just deciding not to. If they paid to be on there, then they have an agreement of what can be posted and what can't be posted and what they can do. But there's an agreement because there's a monetary involvement. So, that's the thing where Trump can't shut down these news stations because they don't pay him and he doesn't pay them. There's no monetary thing. They can say whatever they want. He can choose to not indulge them. He can choose to ignore them and say, oh, whatever CNN says is bullshit. And he's got the freedom of speech to say that. Yeah. So he can do it in a very different way, but the way he's doing it is they want to eradicate everything and they want to control what's going on. They want to control the flow of information. So that's not good. Yeah. And that's a bad thing. And getting people to not air that content is fine too, but like it's just, people can choose it. We don't want to listen to that. Our philosophy with our corporation doesn't agree with their philosophy. So yes, they have the option to nix it. But with that being said, if they're paying for it, that's a different story. There's guidelines and stuff, but you can't silence the news. You can't get people off there. You could choose not to air it. Like the one that we saw before this, where he was all pissed off. Yeah. Facebook has that right to say, we don't want to listen to this. And it's their corporation. They can take it off of there. They can flag videos that they deem inappropriate for their product that you agree to participate in. Yeah. So if you don't like what their product does, then don't subscribe to their product.
And that's why there's traditionally a terms of use that outlines the types of behaviors that are approved by the platform and that aren't approved. And if you violate that, then you are then kicked off. So
that's the same thing that happened with scruffy-looking Nerf herders.
No, people just don't give a fuck.
No. You aired that content, and to YouTube, that's copyrighted images, and you were not selling those images. That's you true. Were illustrating. This is who we're talking the fuck about. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Next time we'll just draw little stick figures.
We have so many more news articles to get through, and we're not going to be able to even reach them. We're already at our time limit. I want to do one last one here, and this is closing out with the Trump and Mueller investigation, which I think is so very interesting. And
hey, Gene Wilder on his wedding night.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of inebriation. Forced inebriation.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Look at that. Could that robe get any higher? And that's not a man's robe, by the way.
That's all men.
Because men's robes go past the knees. This guy, man. He's he probably ate the mint off the pillow, and then he's gonna be
he crawled up like a tiger and ate it with his mouth. Just picked it up with his mouth. Okay, so Trump voters remain loyal even after or even during the Mueller investigation. And some of the things that they say, which I find so interesting because there have been convictions and indictments aplenty proving that there was, without a shadow of a doubt, actual Russian interference with our election. And yet Trump waffles on it. His press secretary and waffles on it. Everyone seems to ignore the reality in order to favor the statements. So here's some of his supporters. They think that Putin is playing him, says Musial, a 66-year-old retiree from Candanesis, Pennsylvania.
I love Putin.
I think Trump is playing him a little bit. That's a gut feeling I've had. Everyone got it all backwards. So this is a Trump supporter who believes, after having allegedly seen the footage from Trump's visit to Russia, where he proved to be nothing but a beta in his behaviors, in his speech, in his mannerisms, she thinks that he is playing Putin.
You know what's funny about that? As this is interesting too, because presidential candidates have visited countries overseas. That's not an uncommon thing. Mm-hmm. That's a very common thing. I mean, McCain did that shit when he was running against Obama. He visited other countries. I'm the candidate. I mean, I'm sure their deals are made sometimes when they get in those, they say, hey, if I get president, I'm going to do this. It's not unreasonable. It's not, that happens. So they may have talked about Putin's, taking his shirt off and riding his horse for all we know. We don't know what they talked about.
Can I get on the back of that horse with you next time?
That's right. Especially when we're in that robe. That's probably a sexy picture right there that he sent to Putin. So that's where
Putin, baby.
Do you like the brown or the blonde or the orange? So it's we don't know what he talked about, and it could be, let's just say for argument's sake that it is bullshit and there was no coercion. I can't even say that with a straight face. Let's just say for the argument they went over and they talked about whatever. It's not uncommon for a presidential candidate to go and talk to foreign dictators and foreign presidents and prime ministers, and
right, but it's not the behavior of visiting with other heads of state that is at issue. It is that the all American intelligence agencies and the investigation itself have come up with a solid, agreeable, evidence-based fact analysis. There are convictions and there are admitted guilty parties. There are indictments running into the 20s, like dangerously close to 20s, that this did in fact happen because of this investigation. And these individuals, in spite of evidence, hard evidence, are saying, no, Trump's playing them. Like, they're ignoring reality.
They don't want to believe it. They just don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
That's all. You know what? That's the thing is, our president would never do that. That's bullshit. That's that fake news shit spreading those rumors. See what I mean? This is how it is. Like, he's this game, people think he's an idiot. I don't think so at all. I think he's being very, very smart about his game. This guy, and he said it before when he was going to run, I'll run as a Republican because the Republican Party is stupid. The people believe anything. The motherfucker's right. He's right, and he's doing it. He don't give a shit. He's going to do it the way he wants it, and he doesn't care. He'll just keep firing the people. Don't give a shit. You're never going to catch me. Oh. That's how he is. He's in a position where he can, you're getting close to an investigation? Well, you're fired. Oh, you're getting close to an investigation? You're fired. If it comes, this guy is Teflon. He's not going to get scathed. I will put money on it. I'll bet you $5, but this is a bet, that he won't get impeached on this.
Well, I don't know that he'll be impeached either, but that's not the basis of guilt or not. That's an action. You're just
mad because nobody believes it. Is that what we're talking? Like, nobody believes it, but that's what it is, man.
Yeah, I mean I'm stunned. I'm flustered that these people are so willing to ignore reality in order to confirm their bias. Like, I understand confirmation bias, but when there is so much evidence to the contrary, as healthy human beings, you must change your mind. Like, I've changed my mind about 1 billion things. Like, that is what a healthy human does.
But you have above average intelligence, Adam. Not everybody's like you. A lot of people are they've been fed this white lie, and they've been fed these lies by the president, and that's how it is. They choose to not believe it. They choose to believe it's bullshit because there's fake news and it's not real, and they're just trying to get Donald Trump because he's doing a good job and shit. People aren't gonna buy it, and it doesn't matter. Even if you could have all the evidence in the world, and you could show people, they still won't buy it. They won't believe it. It has to be a belief.
Here's a photo of Donald Trump lying seductively on the bed in a too short robe. This is who he is. And they're like, nope, fake news.
Yeah, that's Gene Wilder. And with Donald Trump's face cropped into it.
True.
It's photoshopped. It's completely photoshopped.
You can see
the turd next to his hand in the photo. You see that big brown turd? Yeah. See, this is fake news. This is Photoshop.
He's holding it's the Christmas turd. What was that?
Mr. Hanky. Howdy ho, boys.
Howdy ho.
I think this photo more states that's my bottom bitch.
Yeah.
Yes, I know what you were saying.
All right. So here's two last quotes I want to share before we close the episode down. I wish we would have been able to get to this other stuff, but we just couldn't do it with the time. The longer it goes, the less faith I have it's going to be anything but a circus act. Flies in the face of the truth of an investigation. The longer you investigate, the more you turn up, the more you pass off to other legislators to deal with, and that is why it takes so long. It's okay. And then the last quote here is, no matter what happens and how many millions Mueller spends, he can't do a damn thing about what they did or didn't do. And I think that there is some truth in that. That the reality is that we live in a country filled with people who don't care. And they like to shout out in social media or like or share or change their profile picture or shout down someone. But when it comes to actual taking action, no one really wants to put forth any effort. They would rather masturbate to porn on their computer or binge watch a Netflix special.
Because that is the participation award generation.
Yeah. But I don't
That
think,
is exactly
I think it's
what,
just
and
our
even
culture.
the older ones have fallen into it too.
Yeah.
People just don't want to be bothered. They're selfish. They're self-indulgent. They don't really want it. They don't really give a shit. They don't care. As long as they can make money, they got their job. There's no reason to be outraged. If they're making money and they're happy and they got a good job and they got gas in their tank, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how it is, man. People want to, live that life and they want to not have any problems. That's why they just don't care. The rat race is too much. If you take back at least to like the 80s, a one-income family could support the whole household. Now, two people can barely accomplish shit. So they're too busy to give a fuck. I know there's a lot of times I'm like, what's going on in the news? I worked 13 hours today. I don't give a shit. I'm busy. But I think that's what the whole case is, and I think that's what the whole issue is. Yeah. So, yeah. And by the way, I want to say thanks very much for allowing me to come and do this with you. This is just, last episode was great, and with the chats going on with this episode, this was a lot of fun, and this is a continued thing that I'd like to do, and I really appreciate us doing this. This is a lot of fun. I look forward to this. So thank you.
You're very welcome. I enjoy it too. And thank you all for tuning in live, sharing in the conversation, helping mold our discussion. And I want to share this last final thought with everyone if I can, because the purpose of this is not to have a final thought that everyone is supposed to agree on. There is no consensus here. We are doing this in order to evoke thought, to force you to look at a situation or an idea or an individual in a slightly different perspective than you did before, so that you can come up to your own conclusions about that. That is what's important. I don't want hive mind. I don't want a think tank. That's not true. I do want a think tank so that you come up with your own perspectives. But I don't want, this one size fits all ideology coming out of this show. As Patrick and I have debated both sides of many different issues today, we're going to be moving forward and sharing our own ideas, informed by our own life experiences, our own perspectives developed through our own exposures to our own culture and the societies and the parents and the teachers and etc. that we were informed by. That is what is important, is that you're learning as you go. You're not just taking things at face value. We say study, not worship, for a fucking reason. So please, please, please disagree with me all you want, as long as you're studying to do it and not just agreeing with something because you happen to like the individual saying it.
That's the good thing about this show too, is that we don't have to agree or disagree. We're just trying to provoke thought. We're trying to get people to at least just think about things in, like you said, an enlightened perspective. It's to progress the thought process and to, give different perspectives on things that people can just soak in and take on. They can be like, Adam and Patrick are so full of shit. Fuck those guys. But at least we gave you the opportunity to at least make that decision. At least you're being informed, and I appreciate this forum too, because you can just really just let it all hang out and just say how you feel. And I think that's the good thing about it. We're not on an agenda. We don't have a course of action. We're just discussing what's going on and how it affects us personally and what our take is on it, and maybe it will help you guys with your take on it. So thanks again, everybody.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, and until we can speak of the devil again, everyone, hail Satan.
Keep the checks coming.
Keep those checks a-coming.
That's my favorite tagline. I like that one. In the sweetest smelling podcast in the world. That's awesome.
This is actually supposed to be a video. I don't know why it's not playing.
Technical error.
That's my tarot set.
Is it really? Mm-hmm. Is that you putting them down?
Yeah. I wasn't wearing pants at all.
We've talked about this. I don't care that you do it. Just don't tell me about it. That's all. You don't gotta advertise. You don't gotta fucking rub people's noses in it. That's great. But come on, man. Oh, dude, it's too fun, man. We have too much fun on this shit. This is my favorite part too. Like goes right over LaVey's eye. I was like, that's fucking dope. Dope.